aware I am live, in case you're watching and thinking I have no idea what I'm doing. Hey guys. Wow, that's a lot of people. Oh my god. Hey everyone. I have not done a live stream in a very, very long time, so you're gonna have to bear with me here. There's so many. There are so many things in the chat. Welcome everyone. Today, if you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, I am essentially going to be giving my best YouTube advice. People have been asking me for a really, really long time. You know, just saw hello four eyes in the chat. You're fucking kidding me. Yeah, people have been asking me for a really long time, you know, like, what's your best advice for YouTube and how do I get started and whatnot. So I've actually written up like a list of, I don't know, like all of the things that I wanted to cover because I'm going to forget it. You can't tell I'm nervous, can you? I just want to give it a little bit and I'll let everyone get in the stream because I kind of forgot to, to let people know in advance about this one. But how's everyone doing? I want to hear how you guys are doing. Enough about me. Just forget there's a delay. Okay, what does blue clean 4 mean? Okay, I will answer that in this. All right. And yes, thank you for 300K. I woke up this morning and I was like, what the fuck? You know, like, holy shit. The last time I did a live stream, I was 200,000 subscribers less than I am right now, which is very scary to think about. I see Dan in the chat. Thank you, Dan. I'm going to be umming and ahhing for a lot. Now, I will be taking questions after. I don't know what I got this pen for. I will be taking questions afterwards, so I'm not ignoring you. Just let me, I've kind of like rehearsed a little bit of this, so let me just get it out off the top of my head, all right? Anyway. You look like a dad. Thank you, dude. Anyway, yeah, no, but 300,000 subscribers. I wasn't planning on doing this to celebrate that. I was planning to do this tonight, and it just so happened to coincide really well. So that was like, I was like, yeah, holy shit. So I guess this also doubles as a celebration. So I wanted to thank you guys so much for that. That's just incredible. You know, I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, I have too many subscribers. Like I was fine with 200K, and now it's too many. Anywho, oh my god, I've already got a donation. I haven't even done anything. Thank you, Ethan. Thank you for giving Sky High the respect and appreciation that it deserves. I'm eternally grateful that this masterpiece is recognized. Anyway, so I think I might get started. It's been about 3 minutes, and I'm already. I see George in the chat saying I'm copying him because he started live streaming. George, fuck off, okay? I did it before you did. Anyway, so yeah, I see something about editing videos. I will get to that, okay? I have a list. Let me get through it. So obviously, I can't provide advice that is like definitely like going to work for everyone. I can't give you a thing where it's like, this is, you know, those videos where it's like secret tips to getting 1 million subscribers overnight. Like that's complete bullshit. That's not a thing that happens. Thank you, Bert. So I'm more or less just going to be going from my own experience and just what I can tell you more or less. So it's not going to work for everyone, but it's, you know, it worked for me. So yes. Now, let us begin. So the first question, I think, when you're starting a YouTube channel, I figure a lot of you guys are probably past this stage, but the very first thing you're wondering is, how do I make a channel and what do I call it? Now, obviously, I'm not the best person to ask about this because I named my channel after something I came up with when I was 12 years old, which is not the best thing to base your career off of. But at this point, it's kind of stuck, hasn't it? So I guess I'm stuck with that. I see people asking questions. I will get to them afterwards. I'm not ignoring you. Please bear with me. Now, by the way, all the mods in the chat, I give you full permission to delete any comments asking for requests. I love you. Please do that. Thank you. Now, how do I come up with a username is a very good question. I remember my brother asking me, he was like, when he wanted to make a YouTube channel when he hit 13, he was like, well, what do I do? And the thing that I asked him was, the thing I told him was, just put two things that sound really cool together and use that as a base. Like that's how George and I came up with Button Smashers, right? We were like, we need something that sounds like, we need something that sounds like, a marketable thing. Anyway, that is more or less up to you. Username, I can't help you with. I see some of you guys have already got really good usernames. I'm sorry, I'm tripping over my words so much. I feel like I'm having an anxiety attack. Anyway, so once you're actually past the point of making a channel, which more or less YouTube helps you through pretty easily, I think. I don't think, there's tutorials galore out there if you need them. The next thing you're probably wondering is, what do I make? How do I know what videos to make and what do I do from there? Now, this one is a tough one because I know for a fact that when you first start out, you're like, how do I worry about where this channel is going to go? Do I think about, what do I do now? Do I want to make what I want to make? Or do I, thank you, Aaron. I do look like John Oliver. I've had that pointed out to me. For me, more or less, my very first video was a test and it's still up. It's the, thank you, man. Too Easy Dragon. Sorry, I'm going to be very slow with donations. Where was I? Yes, content. My very first video that is still up is the legendary Pokemon list, and that was essentially me testing out how to upload on YouTube. It was literally a PowerPoint presentation that I saved as JPEGs, chucked it into a fucking Windows Movie Maker. I'll turn up my microphone. There you go. And all of that. And that's the video. It wasn't ever intended to be like, I'm going to make Pokemon videos from here. Now, obviously, I started out with Transformers because for me, that was like, this is something that I know a lot about. And it's something that, I feel like I could offer that other people haven't prior. It's not like, I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the absolute best at this. But for me, it was like, this is something that I trust myself enough to want to keep doing. And obviously, I didn't know at the time that if you only make the same thing like over and over again, you are going to, you're going to be fucking exhausted of it. George, shut up. I see you in the chat. So the thing that I pose to you is more or less, what is it that you think you would be like what would you want to make? Not what can you make. What is it that you would want to continue making? So right from the get-go, really, I think the thing you should be worrying about is what is it that you would be interested in doing? Your very first video is not going to immediately blow up. That's not, I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. The YouTube is not very kind nowadays, especially in terms of, thank you, Lucas, in terms of breaking out and being super popular immediately. So it's something that you don't really have to worry about until you start making videos. My advice is just start with what you really want to do and then work on it from there. It's start on, thank you, Zach. I will get to collab videos, I promise. I'm sorry I'm going really slow. I will get better at this as I go on. I'm very nervous right now. And the chat is distracting me, but I need to have that open. So, if you're someone that's a really big fan of Pokemon, for example, let's say that, you would want to make, you'd know that you can talk about Pokemon. So you'd want to start with a Pokemon video. And it's something that, for me, obviously with Transformers, it was like a top 10 list because I saw people were doing top 10 videos on YouTube and I was like, that sounds like a great idea. So, God, I'm sorry. That's like, thank you, Hi Levi. That's like, the thing that you should be worrying about for starters is give me a second, guys, I promise. I'm sorry, please don't laugh at me. not what other people are going to watch. What is it that you want to make, for starters? Okay, now that we can finally move on, my suggestion from there is keep making stuff for you. No one, it's very unlikely that, for starters, anyone except you and maybe a few select friends, if you want to share it with them, is going to see it. But eventually, you're probably going to gain traction. At least one of the videos that you make is eventually going to attract some attention. And what you got to do from there is seeing what is it that video did right that I can replicate again. Use the trends that you can see in that video. So I remember the top 10 videos really used to do well for me because obviously that was a format that people really latched onto. So that's what I kept making those, and I just kept making top 10 videos over and over and over and over again. And people really took to that. And once you start doing that, you can start mixing some more stuff in that you want to make. And hopefully you've racked up enough of an audience that people will want to watch the stuff that they're not, that's not going to do super well in comparison. Anyway, yeah, so for me, it took about a year to get anywhere on YouTube. It took about, I can't remember whether it was 100 or 1,000 subscribers, but it took 1 year to get anywhere. It's not going to turn up the audio it's had. Okay. There we go. My mic is at full volume. Hold on. Let me listen. How about that? Yeah, okay. That's a little bit better. Thanks, George. It's not going to immediately do super well. So you've got to give it time and you've got to be persistent with it. So, you've got to be motivated enough to really want to do it. You absolutely cannot, thank you, Jeremy. You can't start off YouTube, I'm going to be the most famous YouTuber and all of my videos are going to do incredible. That's just not realistic. I'm sorry. I didn't do that. Most people don't do that, I'm assuming. And it's great to be optimistic, by all means. Set yourself goals, but you need to be realistic in that when you first start out, it is going to be rough. But I would say enjoy that time while it lasts because you're going to miss how quiet it is. When you can make mistakes and make a lot more stuff. Thank you, the Samurai Theorist 21 and DireBOG36. I apologize for that. Anyway, moving on. So I'll come back to that later. I just don't want to hang up on that too long. Give me a minute. Zach the Hokage is a great name. Okay, equipment. Now, people have always asked me, what do you suggest for equipment? Thank you, stupid webcam. I'm not making an OnlyFans. Stop it. PPSTZS2110. Thank you. How do you deal with the embarrassment of mistakes? I'll get to that, okay? Because, anyway. Equipment. Now, quite obviously, I've been doing this for about 5, nearly 6 years now. So I've had a lot of time to be able to get the equipment that I want. But when I first started, I had a laptop and I was using the microphone from that. I mean, when I first started, I wasn't even using my voice because I knew that I didn't have a good enough microphone to do it. So I just started out with Windows Movie Maker and I started out with text because I didn't have any audio that I could use. And once I realized the limitation you get with that is you don't have the comedic timing that you really want in terms of delivering jokes with your own voice. So I really wanted to do, narration. So in order to do that, I had to start out with a microphone in my laptop that was so fucking quiet that you literally could not hear anything. I guarantee you there are some people in here that probably still remember. It was so quiet and I would bass boost it to absolute hell. I would increase the audio to 100-fold and it was still, you could not hear anything. So, I at the time, I thought that was the best I could do. So I put that on YouTube and obviously all the comments were like, we can't fucking hear you, So, anyway, work with what you have is what I suggest. Because you're going to learn how to deal with the limitations that you're given. It really, really helps with like in terms of coming up with problem solving for things in the future, starting out with really like not as great equipment really helps to teach you how to get around the limitations that you have. So good porn advice as well. Thank you, George. I wonder why. My mic is at full volume. What else do you want from me? This is the max I can do. Hold on, let me see if I can turn it up then. Advanced audio properties. Webcam for streaming, mic aux. There we go. I'll turn it to 200. How about that, guys? Huh? There. Is that louder? Is that better? I want everyone in the chat to tell me that's louder. Okay, some people are telling me that it's fine. Some people are telling me that you can't hear me. I don't... God. Technical support. Okay, I'm getting pranked, clearly. Okay, you're very funny, guys. So yeah, I've written here, save up for the basic equipment that you really want to start with. So for me, it was like, I started out with a crappier camcorder and I wanted to save up for a better camera that was like, the one that I have now, I'm not like, please don't take any, I'll tell you the price, but don't take it as like I'm bragging or anything. The camera I've got is like $1,500. And that took a very long time to save up for. I started out with a camcorder that was at max... it was at maximum... What was I saying? That's a fucking dementia. I look at the chat for 2 seconds and I forget what I'm talking about. Yeah, no, so the maximum quality that the camera had, it said it was 1080p, but it was like, at best, it was like 480p. And if anyone remembers those old facecam videos, they were absolute dog shit. So, yeah, it was like, you know, it took a while. It takes a very long time to get to the equipment that you really want. And understand that that's going to take a while. But it's good, because it gives you time to save up for what you really want. And whether that means getting a job or doing chores or, you know, saving up enough money to get what you want. Now, the key things that you need depend on what kind of content you're going to make. So for me, obviously, what I need is mic, camera, light, editing software. Oh my God. Okay, guys, enough with the mic. Okay, is this good? Is this good? Please leave me alone. Stupid webcam, thank you again. Oh my God, turn my mic up. It is at max volume right now, guys. Please, you are stressing me out. Turn your volume up. Okay. So yeah, obviously I use the Rode NT USB microphone, and I started out with, I can't remember what it was called, but it was about $200. So it was like, it wasn't as good, but it did the job. And once I got that, it was like, holy shit, you know, I can actually record my voice now. And it just opened up so many possibilities. Thank you, Shin. Other times where you feel exhausted from doing YouTube and run out of ideas for videos, if so, how do you deal with that? Everyone does. Everyone. I have started, yeah, I think they are messing with me, thank you. I think people have, oh my God, what was I talking about? Yeah, everyone gets burnt out at some point. I've started actually giving myself like a day off each week. I never used to do that. Whenever I finished the video, I would get right on to the next one. And that is not healthy at all. Don't do that. that is a promise. So, you know, I give myself a day off now to recuperate and rest and sort of work out. As for videos that video ideas, I have a list that I compile it across months. So it takes me a very, very long time to actually get to the ideas that I've written down. Like, to give you an example, Spy Kids 3, I wanted to do when I did the Shark Boy and Lava Girl video, and I made that, you know, a year ago. So, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, so there's tons of articles of what you can get. A lot of articles online will recommend to you what the good starting equipment is, and I don't want to sound like I'm sponsored and chuck out some names and whatnot of like products, but essentially work with what you have. Don't think that you can't start making videos just because you don't have the equipment for starters. You can start with what you've got. Just change the way that, you know, maybe you can't, thank you MP Cons, what an absolute lad. Thank you. You can't like, you're not going to be able to start off with like exactly what you have in your head of what you want to make. So just start out like a little bit smaller. So for me, it was I couldn't use my voice, so I had to. Thank you, J Tryhard Zero. If you need, yeah, I don't have an accent. What are you talking about? Everyone's commenting on the glasses. I wear these every live stream. I don't think you guys. I don't know why this is such a big deal. Yeah. So Josh C. Most people's phone camera is fine to start with. So everyone, well, not every. Don't you guys have phones? Everyone has a phone, more or less, in some form or another. And if you don't, then that's fine. Then you can... But if you do have a phone, you can use that for starters, even if the quality is not great. And the limitations you have on that is it's not great in terms of, like, zooming and, you know, all that sort of thing. Literally 2. Yeah, because I've only done 3 live streams in my entire life. Yeah, so your phone camera is good for starters. Oh my God, I'm already getting exhausted. Sorry guys, this is my anxiety playing up, so I'm freaking out a little bit. Yeah, so my best advice is the equipment does not make the content. If you were to give someone that hasn't made videos before, the most expensive equipment in the world, like we're talking like news channel level equipment, that would not improve the final product. What improves the way a video is the limitations that people get around and the way that they present it with what they have. And I'm not saying that like, oh, look at me, I was so amazing. But just in general, I mean, YouTubers I have found, you know, are at their best when they're making what they're passionate about with what they have. And to see them improve gradually, you know, by buying better equipment is amazing. That's really cool. But you can't start out with a $2,000 camera, the most expensive editing software, and expect that to improve the final product, because it won't. Anyway, moving on. Moving on finally from that. I feel like am I taking too long with each of these, or I don't know. I'm doing my best. Okay, scripting. So once you've actually come up with Zach Bright, some pro advice from a dude in New Zealand. I'm gonna get to it. I like the question is it hard to do a video? No, of course not. It's super easy. Now, once you've actually come up with an idea of what you want to make, now, you don't have to do a script. That's not a requirement. A lot of YouTubers, I think, normal people, you guys I see people in the chat saying, look behind you, as if I can't. I'm looking at my own screen. I can see what's behind me. Shut up. You guys are so mean. Oh my God. Some people just write out like little notes, like what I've done here. Exactly. Like this isn't like full on a script. This is just stuff I've written down. You can just give yourself prompts. It depends on how good your memory is. Now for me, my memory is absolutely shit, and I need everything written down. Everything I need, everything I say in a video needs to be scripted beforehand. And for me, you know, that varies on the person. That's not something that is required. So I'm not telling you, this part is like my advice. It's not me saying you have to do this. Now, when I come up with an idea for a video, I think like, is this going to work in terms of like, can I make something out of this? So with a movie, for example, I start out with watching it, and then I take notes as I go along, and I write down the timestamps of, you know, like to go back to it. And that formula is really easy because, George, you can ban whoever you want, bud. I trust your judgment. That formula really works for me because it's like the easiest in terms of, you know, getting everything to work. So for me, it helps lay out how the video is going to look. So I write down the structure of everything, where the jokes are going to go. Sometimes I do write down the edits that I want to do with it. So I write down like, you know, like have this appear on the screen or things like that. Okay, guys, I don't want this to sound like I'm being really salty, but please delete the comments that are saying look behind me. Anyway. Yeah, so what jokes go where, basically I do a rough draft, and I just write down like notes of what I'm wanting to say, and then I flesh them out. So scripting takes about 2 to 3 days for me, and that's because it's the foundation of the video. For me, it's probably one of the most important parts, because if you don't have a script, the whole video is aimless. I don't know what I'm doing if I don't have something to refer to. And as I edit, I cross off on the script So I have, you know, I have the Blah. Thank you. Is my name good to use? Yes, I'm just an idiot who can't pronounce it. Don't think that everyone is like that. Anyway, George is probably laughing his ass off right now. I don't know if you guys, some of you may know, he started live streaming and he's really good at it. And it's just fucking, I'm doing it so badly. Anyway. Yeah, so the script is, I need a script. It's, as I edit, I cross things off, and that way I know what goes where, and it's basically like, as I said, the foundation of the entire video. I color code everything in the script as well, because that way it helps me know where the face cam parts are gonna go, where the narration is gonna go, and anything else. So, what is blue clean for, you may be asking, which a lot of people were asking me. Blue is what I color code the face cam parts in every script. So the face cam is blue, the narration is red, and everything else is purple. Like edits are purple, and that way, I've taught myself how to recognize, you know, what goes where. So it's really easy. I can't give streaming tips. I am shit at it. Can you not tell? Are you watching me? Yeah. So the very first thing I input into a project is the facecam footage. So that automatically saves the file as blue. The clean part refers to the audio, which is, I save 2 copies of the audio. I save the original raw file and then the version that I clean up in post in Audacity, and that's clean. And 4 refers to the number of the final video. So I went through 4 copies of that video before. Oh, hey Dale. Adam, very legend, very wise, and your advice is awesome. Oh, dude, thank you. It is nice to actually get some positive affirmation. I feel like I'm doing a terrible job. I'm sorry I'm rambling, guys. I'm a bit freaked out. Yeah, so that was what Blue Clean 4 was. And more or less what happened was I had scheduled that video to come out as at 12 a.m. for me, and I had left it there. I watched it through and there was a problem with it, so I left it up, and then I went back to the file and changed some things and then edited it, and the final version ended up being Blue Clean 6. And in case you're wondering how many versions of it I go through. So that is what happened with that. I am very sorry about that. It was just a mistake. So I'm sorry for freaking everyone out, but it is not as bad as the time I accidentally uploaded a video called "Fuck You," to say the least. Now, so to go back to scripting, sorry. Obviously, to go through the entire thing just like straight like that is, oh, hi Travis. Just sending you some love since I'm not stuck around your latest uploads. I'm digging this stream. You're giving excellent input. Thank you. I'm not asking for compliments, but I'm not getting a lot from the chat. So, Anyway, I can handle it, guys. I've been doing this for a while. Yeah, so when I go through a script, I obviously have things that I go back to later. And so I actually make a pile, I actually make like a list of things to go back to afterwards. So the editing part for me, I guess I'll get to that in a bit. But the script is, I cross off, what I edit, and then whatever I don't edit, I also make a copy of at the bottom to know that I have to go back to it. And I spend an entire day, like one of the final days on editing is going through that list of things I left. So if you get stuck on something that you don't know how to edit or don't know what to do with, just leave it till later. It's not like procrastinating, it's do it with a better mindset. And I always work out, how to do it eventually. Anyway, that works for me. Now, scheduling. Now, I've written here, not required, but helps with motivation and makes work easier to do in chunks. So my schedule for videos, I know the whole joke is I don't have an upload schedule, because I don't. But I spend, I think it's about 8 to 9 days now per video. So obviously there's 1 day off, 2 days on the script, 1 day for filming, and finishing off the rest of the script that I do in the morning. And usually those first 3 days are the most laid back because I have a lot more time to work it out and decide what I actually want to do with it. So, yeah, so, and then after that, everything else is basically, I think it's about 4 to 5 days on the actual editing process, which is grueling and boring and awful, and it's terrible. But, you know, some people like it. I don't know. Yeah, so laying the foundation is really, like, going through that script and getting all the clips that I need and everything, and I put that in there. The fun part of editing comes when I can do all the really different edits, and I have to do that afterwards. So for me, that's like, I usually spend the first 4 to 5 days doing the base editing, if you want to call it that, and then all the really tough edits that like spend a lot of time, like the MLG compilation in the Spy Kids video, or the Do the Mario thing in no, you cannot go to the bathroom. All of this will be in the test, okay? You go to the bathroom, and no, the bell does not dismiss you, I dismiss you, okay? Everyone better be paying attention. Yeah, so that's my schedule. And then, yeah, so then it's about 1 to 2 days on like the final product. So I spend a lot of time cleaning it up essentially afterwards. So the last things I do on a video is add the music and go through it and like make all the little changes. Obviously go through that list of things I left to do for later. I always leave the hardest stuff to later. Thanks, guys. Can you collab with Button Smashers? Yeah. Yeah. So that might not work for everyone. That obviously, sorry, I should have clarified. That's now. When I first started, I used to make a video every 2 days. And that was because it was easy in comparison. Obviously now it's like every single thing that I do in a video has to be scripted beforehand. Before it was like, put a fucking picture and put some text, add some music, and that shit is done in like 48 hours. That is ready to go. And I never even used to watch the videos before they went up. I just like, I watched it the one time. I watched it like while I was editing it, and then I just put it up, and that was it. There was no like consideration whatsoever. Yeah, anyway, God, I was a disaster. Now, obviously, a lot of things take a lot more time now that I'm a lot more like, what's the word, I guess? Experienced, I guess? So everything takes a lot longer. Anyway, what have I got? Now, some of you guys may be in school. Some of you guys may have a part-time or full-time job that you've got to do. I don't know, depending on the age. How is it that you can manage to do YouTube whilst also managing the rest of your life? Because you can't just do YouTube all the time. That is what I do, and it's don't do that. Yeah. So what I used to do was, obviously school for me was like the entire day, and then I would get home and I would have like, what was it? After dinner, it was like 5 hours before it was like, I have to go to sleep and wake up early. So I'd spend about like 1 to 2 hours doing homework, and then the rest was getting a chunk of editing done. Which is why videos back in 2018, when I used to do those green screen videos, the reason that they took so long was because I had to manage that along with school. You can't, in terms of convincing your parents, I guess, in this, if we're going off school circumstance, if you have the kind of parents that are like, you know, how dare you do anything other than study? How dare you have a hobby? I'm going to literally kill your entire family. You have to show them that you're able to do both. And for me, that was really all about like prioritization and time management, which I know sounds really boring and like, you know, fucking a school seminar, as if this is like one of those guys that comes to talk to you at school. But yeah, you get the idea. So just, yeah, understand, like anything that you want to throw yourself into, your family might not initially be 100% supportive. So you have to, like, I guess it depends on your situation individually, but I highly recommend that you work out a way to balance. Now for me, I hated doing homework so much that editing afterward did not feel like work. For me, that was my reward, you know, if that makes any sense. It didn't feel like work because I hated doing homework so fucking much that it was actually like the reward was doing editing, which really goes to show, you know. Anyway, so understand that you can't just be like, oh, you know, I'm only going to make YouTube videos from now on. That's not realistic, and it's not a good idea, to be honest. So you have to kind of, work out a way to balance it. And that comes with time. That comes with experience, I guess. You work out what works best and how you can manage to do things. And sometimes, you spend nights where you only do homework, or sometimes you don't have homework. And that applies with jobs as well. So if you have, a job to get to, then you work on a video in the meantime. And the best thing about starting out is that you don't have any pressure to get anything done. I mean, initially I said to myself, I wanted to try getting one video done a week, which obviously has deteriorated as I've gotten older. But that was I set myself a goal to get that done. And obviously the weekend is the best time for it, because you get like a majority of you get the brunt of the video done on the weekend. Anyway. Okay, how are we doing? Yeah, okay. So, starting out. Now, the most valuable advice I can give you, and I really don't want this to sound condescending, because I know I'm going to sound like a parent when I say this, who all seem to think that, I know way better than you, but I promise you, do not do those sub for sub things, ever. And do not advertise your channel on other people's channels. Because even if it brings in the numbers, what you're not going to get out of that is the kind of people that are actually going to watch your content. And you want people to do that. You want to earn people's trust and get them to actually enjoy the content that you make. So doing those sub for sub things, you gain nothing but a number. And while it might make you feel good at the time, you're going to think, what was the purpose of that? This person isn't watching my videos. They're just using me to get a number for themselves. And advertising on other people's channel is only going to draw in people that are going to whine about it. It's annoying. Every time someone advertises on your channel, it's frustrating. So just be considerate in that regard, I guess, that people don't want you to do that, Sorry, I missed the super chat. Give me a second. Uber Chris. Hello, Mr. Bolt. I've been a fan of your channel since 75k. And way to say congrats to you on 300k. What is the best way to start editing for montages? Are we talking montages in terms of okay, I think I know what montages mean. What is the best way? I guess start out with the clips that you want and lay out, scroll through all the footage that you got and work out the key clips that you want to use. And then from there, get a song, I guess, if you're syncing it to music or something like that. And then you can kind of bring it all together. I'll come back to something like that. Anyway, yeah, so do not do sub for sub things. They will not gain, you don't get anything out of that, I promise you. In the long run, you will feel awful about it. It may be good at the first time. Those fucking channels that do those 10,000 subs without videos thing, subscribers are not as important, I tell you this from the bottom of my heart, as views are, okay? I promise you. Your subscribers are a status that you can choose to view as important as you want. And they mean a lot to me, but it's not the only thing I care about. I care more about the people who are actually watching the videos, not because of, money or anything. It's the fact that people are actually wanting, because obviously all 300k subscribers are not watching my videos. So my attention is going to be on the people that are actually watching. So now, so what you want are people that are watching, not subscribing. Those people will not stick around, I promise you. So there you go. Now, so let's say I've basically reached, the only thing I have left to cover is editing, I think, as a base. So, okay, so so I don't forget, I'm going to cover editing, and I'm going to cover motivation and burnout, because that's a big one as well. I hope you students are writing this down. This will be in the test. Yes, note this down for the assessment. Oh man, is this what it's like to teach? I already answered. Little Mexican, hello, help, my pee-pee is filled with poo and got stuck in the toaster. Anyway, where am I? So yeah, once you get going, you gotta really make a mix between what you want to make and what people are actually watching. Don't just copy trends. Obviously, it's good to see what people are making, but you can't just make a Fortnite compilation video because that's doing really well for someone else and expect that to also do well. Because what people are really going to care about in the end is you as a creator. They're going to want to watch for you. and you don't get retention from the audience if you just appeal to, like, you know, that's why clickbait is ineffective in like gaining an actual community. And that's why for me it's always a big deal. Because yeah, you get, like, I'm not saying if you're only in this for making money and like getting a bunch of children in your comments, then by all means do those 3 a.m. calling a dead person challenges. Those, yeah, it'll probably do fine. But if you actually want to build a community, which is what I really, really care about, and I can see the I'm reaping the rewards now as everyone is bullying me in the chat. May I have some paper? It won't happen again. What if we self-promote on Discord channels? That is a very good question, actually. I think ask the owner of the server or any of the moderators. Like my Discord server, for example, has a section where you can self-advertise, and it's better that, I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, if people are not willing from the get-go to want to check out your channel, they're going to get mad at you. It is annoying when someone is spamming their own content, asking you, please watch my videos. You know? I don't mean that as an insult. I'm just saying that has happened to me before. Anyway. Yeah, so once you really get into the swing of things and you start building up that pattern that you really like, you know, for me, the pattern now is I'm doing a movie video and then something a bit different, and then a movie video and then something a bit different. And my logic is always, I think I've seen like I've read about directors doing this as well for like movies. One for me, one for them. You know, I'll do a crappy Marvel movie, and then I'll do, you know, a more indie project for me that I want to make that might not do as well, but I really want to make it because I'm passionate about it. That's what I'm really wanting to do. That has always been my my logic, is you have to do a mix between sorry guys, I think you have to do a mix between what people are really engaging with and what you're also enjoying. So obviously the reason that I burnt out so much with Transformers is because people were really enjoying it, but I wasn't. And yeah, sure, it's going to do views, but it's not going to, you know, it doesn't do anything for me. It's just making me miserable. And you can't sustain that on a long term. Absolutely not. That will burn you out very quickly. And that was what my problem was I was only doing one for them. There was no one for me. It was just for them. Because I used to get discouraged when there wasn't as many views on what I was really enjoying making as opposed to... Anyway, you get the idea. I don't need to ramble about that. So yeah, that's my advice. Once you really start seeing what people are really engaging with and what seems to do the best, blend it in with stuff that you want to make as well. When I pick a video topic, it's not just I want to make this. It's also because, will this do well? Does this appeal to a wider audience? And will people engage with this and really want to watch it? And I'm not always right. Obviously, I've had a few stinkers, and that happens. That's going to happen, and you can't let that beat you. I used to always seem to think whenever a video flopped, that my whole channel was fucked. You know, I made one mistake, and my entire channel was screwed. But that's not true, because you've had the successes in the past, and you can and will do it again. You just have to do it again. You have to make another video. That's all you can do, is get up and try again. And the best thing about YouTube videos is those stay up forever. As you know, that you want, if you want them to. So people may still go to that video. It may still be a success. You can't call everything a flop just because it doesn't initially do well. Think about it in the future. Maybe it might do really well, you know, once your content starts really going. Anyway, sorry to harp on that. Now, a lot of people have asked me, where do you get your inspiration from? Thank you, Pro for Life 9. Thank you. Where do you get your inspiration from, and like, how do you develop ideas? My biggest advice is extremely simple, and I'm sure all of you guys are doing this already. Just watch YouTube. Watch a lot of YouTube. Watch what other people are doing and see what they're doing really well. See what doesn't work for them. See what... I've just realized the reason this is so zoomed in is because... I haven't streamed in a while, can you guys tell? Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Where was I? Yeah, so don't like copy them by any means. That never goes down well, because if I so much as make the topic of a video is similar to what someone's done a couple months ago, they called me a ripoff. But yeah, so just watch what other people are doing and what works for them, and see how they change. See, for me, you know, having to completely change my entire channel's idea took a lot of work, and I had to see other YouTubers that have also done it in the past to see how to get that to work. So yeah, rip off. Yeah. No, you can say the fuck word, that's okay. So yeah, just watch YouTube. Watch a fuck ton of YouTube. You will subconsciously take ideas, whether you know it or not. And that's what it was for me. My biggest inspirations are obviously people like Pyrocynical, JonTron, Game Grumps, I mean, initially it was like Tobuscus and whatnot, you know, etc, etc, etc. So just watch the people you really enjoy watching, and you will subconsciously take ideas from them. Hi, stupid webcam again. You don't know how much YouTube I watch. I watch 8 to 12 hours a day. Also, hello from New South Wales, and will this stay up? I will leave I'll have this unlisted if people want to watch, but I highly doubt they want to go through, what is this, 45 minutes of me rambling? Anyway, now, I'm not going to try and sound like the fun police here by any means. I am a strong advocate for the fact that YouTube's rules state that you have to be 13 to make an account. So for God's sake, wait until you're 13 to make an account. I guarantee you, and judging by some of the comments I wrote on this live stream, that is not true for some people, because there's no way to stop it. There is no way to actually verify someone's age. But if you want to do the right thing, use that time, but there's no rush, dude. Wait until you're the right age and use the time beforehand to plan. The longer that you plan for, and the longer that you work out what you want to make, the better the end result will be, you know? So before I hit 13, because my mum was adamant, she was like, you are not going to start a YouTube channel until you're 13. And she was right, you know, in hindsight, but man, I was upset at the time. But use that time beforehand to plan and do what I just said. Watch a bunch of YouTube, work out what kind of content you want to make. Hell, make it in your spare time for yourself. Just make videos, you know, learn how to edit and stuff like that in your own time. It doesn't have to go up on YouTube. My mum was right. Can you imagine if I'd started before 13? I was embarrassing enough when I started. Yeah. Now, the last two things I've written here is you will not start out incredible, okay? This is true with everything that anyone tries ever in the entire world, as cliched as it sounds. The people that you look up to did not start out incredible right from the get-go. That just doesn't happen. You have to fail in order to succeed. And boy, did I fail a lot, okay? I was a colossal failure over and over and over and over again on YouTube. I have made some dumbass decisions, and I don't regret them because it's helped me learn. But you have to fail, and it's okay to get demotivated sometimes, by all means. If a video doesn't do well, or, you know, even if you get hate comments and whatnot, it's okay to feel upset about that. That's normal, but you can't let it defeat you, because you gotta think, like, you can always try again, and there's not much stopping you from doing that. And I think that's kind of cool in a sense. I'm just reading the chat, sorry. Twitch fail moment. Yeah. So when I first started out, I was extremely limited in what I could make, and that frustrated me because I wanted to be able to make what I'm making now. It took 5 years to get to the point where I'm like, I actually really like the videos I make, but it takes a while. It takes a while to get to where you want to be. So understand that you're not going to start out amazing. Don't be nervous about the first video you make. It doesn't have to be perfect. It won't be. It is going to suck so hard in hindsight, because you're going to improve so much, and you will learn. Every time you make a video, you're going to learn how to improve it. And I know this sounds really, really cliche, but I try to better myself each video. I try to do something different, you know, and improve the content every time. And you might not even notice that you're improving. It just happens. And yeah, that'll come with the equipment you buy. By all means, it'll improve the output. But in terms of like getting better at the process of making a video, you will get better at it as it goes on. And a lot of people have said, I've heard this advice before, I think it's with music, like you have an infinite, oh no, it's with the book, sorry. You have an infinite amount of time to write your first novel, but then like a very, very limited period to write your second. And don't, like, that is true, but don't let that like scare you. You have as much time as you want to get started, and then from there, set your own goals. Don't let other people, like, I still get people complaining, oh my god, it's been so long since you've uploaded, I forgot you existed, and it's been like 8 days, so that person must be a fucking goldfish, I guess. But, you know, let your own goals dictate what you do. Of course, you gotta listen to people at times. You can't just ignore the audience, because those are the people supporting you. But you get the idea. So, that is everything I've written down. Now what I want to talk about is, well, okay, for starters, editing. Then I will talk about motivation and burnout, and then I will answer your questions. I hope this has been okay so far. I am very freaked out right now. Now, editing is very hard to explain because it's not, unless I literally get out my editing software and give you the most boring tutorial on the entire planet, I cannot really explain to you how to edit. But what I can do is suggest how to get started with it. Now, I owe a lot to George, who I'm not sure if he's still here, but he was the one that initially helped me get the software I needed to actually get started. But obviously, I started with Windows Movie Maker, and I recommend a really basic editing software to start. Thank you, Dale. I recommend a really basic what was I talking about? Software to start with, because it teaches you the basics. Inserting clips, getting the material that you need, putting music in, cutting stuff, transitions, all those sort of things. And then once you've nailed all that, which won't take very long, believe me, I guarantee you'll get the hang of it very soon. The thing that you'll probably find the hardest to get your head around is structure. I still struggle with that sometimes, of like, I have all the content, but I don't have a structure for this. This video is all over the place. There's no like coherency. And that is something that you'll work at. You know, you'll get better at it. I could offer you advice, but that is for the advanced class, okay? Anyway, yeah, so I started out with Windows Movie Maker, then I started with VideoPad Video Editor, which is awful and garbage, but it was very helpful in terms of getting to know, like getting to do all the advanced effects that I really wanted to do at the time that Windows Movie Maker couldn't let you do. I don't have any suggestions necessarily for editing software, but there are 1,000 million bajillion articles out there you can read that I promise you will point you in the right direction. And not all of it is going to be cheap, but there are alternatives out there you can use to what you want to use. Obviously, I use Premiere Pro at the moment, which is, you know, like the final goal that you want, in a sense. That or what is it called? Sony Vegas. Thank you, Little Mexican. You are the best ego, teehee. How long will the stream be? I'll probably go for another half hour before I pass out from the stress. Yeah. You're only a true man when you get the free version of an editing software, which probably has a virus. Yeah. How do I deal with writer's block? Oh, that's a really good question. I'll get onto that in motivation if you don't mind. Yeah, so editing is, for me, it was mostly self-taught. It was like getting to know it. Like, once George helped me out with a lot of the basics, if I recall correctly, but a lot of it was just teaching. I'm still learning how to do things in Premiere. I've only just learned how to key, which, if you don't know what that is, it's basically cutting something out frame by frame and like being able to put things in front or behind it. So in the Triassic World video, which is the first time I used it, I managed to put a Thanos green screen in front, behind the Velociraptor in the movie. And I was so proud of myself for getting that to work. Anyway, yeah, so you get the idea. Editing is something I'm king of balls. Thanks, dude. Oh, that's another good one. How do you make a YouTube logo or profile picture? Okay, to go on a sidetrack, on a tangent here, I had a picture of a llama dressed as Batman as my very first profile picture. Then I changed it to an Autobot and Decepticon icon. Then I changed it to a picture of Robots in Disguise Bumblebee from the fucking app. And then I changed it to a picture of Skids from a Transformers comic. And more or less, all of those are awful and terrible, and they were awful pictures to use, but people identified them. You know, they get to know you well enough through your avatar, and I don't think it's like that important from the get-go to really like to really work out like what kind of image you want to have. Some people may disagree with me, and that's fine. I paid an artist to do the one I've got now. The banner, obviously, I'm not a good. Yes, stupid webcam, gorgeous. Mwah. Obviously not my. If anyone's seen my banner, it's obviously I'm not an expert with banners, but just, you know, it's not like the most important thing. I think more it's just for aesthetics and making you feel like you've got something presentable, and that's something you work on as well. Anyway. Now that we're done with editing, I'm going to take a swig of water. Bear with me. Oh no, I did the thing. Okay. If you want a good profile picture, don't make it a furry. Hey, how's your mum after last night? Okay. Motivation and burnout. Now, okay, this varies on the individual. I think if you don't have the right mindset when you start YouTube, you're not going to be able to keep it up. Because I know it's going to sound really cringeworthy, but it's, you know, you need to be prepared. It's going to wear you down, and you need to be prepared for that. Whether it's from hate comments, you know, people are so mean on the internet because there's no consequences to saying anything. People are going to call you awful things and give you death threats because they can. There's no consequence for them doing that. Hi, Travis. I don't drink, but thank you for asking. So, yeah, hate comments are going to be a thing. Videos underperforming is going to be a thing that you're going to have to deal with. It's something that you'll get tolerant of. And to be honest, I'm still not great at it. Whenever I see comments that are really like mean, you know, it does get to me sometimes. But you do, as sad as it sounds, you do kind of just grow apathetic toward it as you get on. And it's a good thing because it means the comments that, you know, are really nice and helpful mean a lot more. And it's something you're going to have to get used to, I'm afraid. It's you know, it happens. It's going to happen. There is absolutely no way you can make anything on the internet without pissing someone off. It is a requirement. Yeah. King of Bolts, wait for Bolt to make a vlogging channel. Are you implying that my life is important or interesting enough? Yeah, so yeah, Hit Film Express is great. I haven't used it myself, but I hear it's pretty good. Yeah, so so yeah, you're gonna have to deal with that, and that happens. You will encounter hate comments at some point. It is the way the internet is, and if we could, I'm not saying we should stand by and let that happen, but that is something you have to be prepared for. You absolutely cannot please everyone, and it's never going to happen. I mean, I pissed people off on Twitter when I made a video talking about how much I love giant robots because people got mad at me for not getting minor facts right. Okay, that was important enough to them to go off at me for. When I said that Gurren Lagann was from 2000 and something other than 2007 or whatever, people got mad at me for that. You know, and that's what I'm talking about. It doesn't matter what you do. Someone somewhere is going to be pissed off about it, and that is okay. That is going to happen. Thank you, Moscow. As for burnout, please, for the love of God, don't do what I did and make videos all the time. I used to pride myself on the fact that as soon as a video was done, I would get right on to the next one. And there was never a point where I was not working on a video. That is super unhealthy, and your content will gradually get worse if you keep doing that. Because you're gonna get tired, and you're gonna get sick of editing, and you're gonna get sick of everything. Your brain is not gonna work, is not gonna be willing to help you out. So you need breaks sometimes. You don't have to always be making videos, and there's no pressure, you know, in terms of like when do I have to make a video? Some YouTubers make it. Look at JonTron. He's one of my favorite YouTubers, and he uploads once every fucking 10 years. You know? Okay, to his credit, it's more like once a month now. But yeah, some people will give YouTubers shit for that, but I think it's understandable. You can't always be making videos. You have a life outside of YouTube. I try and do once, you know, at least 3 or 4 a month, but it's up to you, really. So, yeah. Gotta get them facts right about mecha nerds, mate. The genre is dying. We want to keep it good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I think it's really based on a personal thing. For me, I did talk about a lot of my advice in that video I did on dealing with insecurities, which is, you know, a big thing for me. I've dealt with a lot of that stuff. I'm not like a poor me, I'm really special sort of thing. Everyone has their own problems, but for me, there was a lot of problems in terms of like not feeling good enough, and I wasn't doing a good enough job on YouTube, and every time I did something, it was a failure. You know, it's those sort of things, and that's whether YouTube itself is getting you down or whether life outside is affecting how you feel. It's going to happen, and that's okay. It's totally fine to take a break sometimes. It's human. I know some people have this idea that we're just robots who make videos and that's all we do ever, but it's not. So, okay. How do you mix your passions into your channel if you already have a reputation for a different passion, if that makes any sense? No, that makes sense. So that's like saying that, you know, for me, it was like I wanted to talk about video games while I was talking about Transformers. Do not completely change your channel over like all of a sudden, excuse me, because that is going to piss people off. I can tell you from experience. I think gradually ease into it, you know, like start, or even put it in the videos that people, that's what I was talking about, merging what you want to make and what people are watching, combine them, you know, have a video about something that you know people are going to really want to talk, like really going to want to watch, but you can also talk about things that you really like in it. So the way I've gotten around doing this, for example, is in the weird gaming cartoons videos, and those sort of ones where it's like compilations, I guess, or like videos talking about a bunch of things at once. I guess like with, you know, weird Australian cartoons, if I was to talk about any of those things individually, they'd underperform. But if you group them together, you get an excuse to talk about things that you want to talk about that won't do as well, but also things that people recognize. Anyway. Now, I think that's a bit about it from me. I know I've glossed over a lot of things, and this is more just the basics of of like how to start out. I hope some of this was useful. This is a good question. Why do I take my glasses off in videos? Because lighting. I think I have done a video before where I have left my glasses on and the ring light reflected in my glasses and it looked awful. So, yeah. Oh, here's a good... Hi, dude. Just wanted to say your videos are awesome and helped me calm down when I was distressed. It sounds kind of cliche, but this is just me being awesome. Honest. It is you being awesome, though. Thank you, Tracer Master. Anyway, so I think that's about it for me. I think, I hope some of that was useful. I don't know. I was kind of just rambling for a while, so I was just reading the chat. This is exactly why I need a script. Do you understand? Because otherwise, this is what I'd be talking about. You know, it'd be like, Legend of Zelda cartoon is really funny. Link says, "Excuse me, princess," and that is hilarious. You know, I need... But some people are really good at improv. That's something that people... Anyway, so I will now take your questions, class. And please understand, I will not be able to get to all of these. I'm going to do my absolute best. So hit me with... And please keep these related to, you know, YouTube stuff. I'm not gonna answer everything. Okay. Yeah, you can ask multiple questions, sure. Okay. Storm Videos has asked really good about merch. Okay. Another thing I wanted to talk about that I forgot to mention, I have seen channels that start out with only like a couple hundred subscribers and they're doing like giveaways and shit. Like, what the fuck? Why? You know, it's like, I mean, good on them. Like, good on them for doing that. But that's like, I think they're using it more as like a tool to engage with their audience. And I think that's like buying viewers, if that makes sense. That is something you can absolutely do once you get everything sorted, but it's not a priority. So selling merchandise and all that sort of thing, that's stuff that comes way later. That's not something you have to worry about initially. Okay. Will you do a giveaway? Probably not. I don't have anything worth giving you. How do you make a proper thanks video around like sub goals? Yes, good question. I normally put them at the end of videos because I guarantee you for a fact that videos that are just thank you for this are going to underperform like crazy. So I just put like a little message at the end of a video, you know, the Cthulhu Slacker, can I be your sugar daddy? Of course. All right, what else we got, guys? Ooh, what inspired you to do YouTube? Okay, watching YouTubers. That's what it was. I watched a bunch of YouTubers. Like, I want to do that. How do you schedule your day for working on videos? Okay, do you guys want to hear what my day is? Because it's going to be really boring and it's not going to be interesting at all. And yeah, sponsors as well. I'll get onto sponsors in a minute. I do know who Mola is. I wish I didn't. And yeah, collabs I'll get to as well. So I most of my day, it obviously depends on what stage in the video I'm up to. So whether it's like scripting or editing, but you cannot just sit there and edit for like 8 hours straight. It will kill you. Okay, I've tried. It is draining. You have to take breaks, and I watch like episodes of shows or watch movies in between. I do like 2 hours of editing, and then I take a 20-minute break, or I eat something. You know, I have lunch, not like panic eating. So for me that really works because you're able to spend most of the day working, and you set yourself a goal. So okay, I didn't mention this, sorry. So I aim to get, when does clickbait go too far and when is it generally harmless? My logic with that is if you're deceiving your audience, then it's sort of like clickbait. And there are some that's like, if you're answering the question in the video, so if you're like, will this, like, you know, those Super Smash Bros videos that are like, which one of these characters can jump the furthest? I don't think that's like clickbait in the sense, but videos that are like, you will not believe what happens in this, or like, I literally almost died. That sort of shit is full on like clickbait, like straight up. What was I talking about? What the fuck was I talking about? Hold on. Guys, I need help. What was I talking about? Anyway, yeah. So, sponsors and... Oh, no, this is a good question. Sorry, I want to get on this. Do you fear getting so big is a lot of pressure for your age because aren't you 18 or 19? I am 18, yes. Okay. Yes, okay, so... This is why you need to be 13 to start a channel. I know people are insistent that they can handle it, but you will face a lot of... Right now, I am feeling so much pressure, I feel like I want to die. And I feel like I'm doing a terrible job. But you get used to it after a while, you know? It's something you adapt to. And it's why I've been grateful that my subscriber growth has been gradual, because you get used to it as you go on. And yeah, I feel a lot of pressure now when I upload videos. It's like, you know, trying to imagine how many people are actually watching you is incredible. I only have about like 600 people here watching me, and I'm freaking the hell out. I have like so much more than that each video, and that scares me so much. But it's also really, really cool. And that's something thanks, Dale. That's something you adapt to. Is it a lot of pressure for someone a bit younger? Absolutely. I don't think I was equipped to handle it when I was 15, 16. And that's why I made a lot of mistakes. I was immature, and I would lash out for reasons, but, you know, sometimes I'd respond to hate comments, and stuff like that. It's something you work out how to do. Yeah, and people have asked me, is this my full-time job? Yes, it is. I want to keep doing this for as long as I can. I love doing this, even when I feel like I'm not enjoying it as much. I've never in 5 years ever never prepared to quit. I've always known that eventually, I'll pull through, and I'll work out a way to feel better. Sorry, I'm getting tired. I saw a question in here that I wanted to answer. Oh yes, monetization. Okay. I know now I actually really like this change that YouTube has implemented, that it has to be 1,000 subscribers, and I think it's like a certain amount of watch time anyway. And I think that's great because it encourages people to start out YouTube for doing it because they want to. Thank you, J Hard Try Hard. Yes, I did get that right. yeah. So, um, I think it's good because people don't start out with the intention of like making money. By all means, if you want to make money, go for it. Like but it's going to take a very long time until YouTube is sustainable enough for you to actually consider that as a career path. And it's why I wasn't like to my mum. I was like, Mum, I'm going to drop everything I'm doing and I am only going to make YouTube videos from now on. You know, I set myself a goal when I was 13 years old, and I said to myself, I want to hit 200k subscribers by the time I graduate from school, and I did it. I don't know how I did it, but I did. And yeah, that's sort of like what really, that's how I sorted it out. And I didn't start out with the intention of making money. I only started making money in 2017, I think, and that was when everyone started taking it seriously. No fault to my mum, who's been nothing but supportive, you know, but even she had her doubts when I first started. It was a waste of time. It's a dumb hobby, you know, and you're going to get a lot of that slack, especially from, you know, maybe people at school or people in the workplace, I guess. They're going to be super harsh initially. Like people gave me a fuck ton of shit when I started. And that, you know, that's another thing you're going to have to deal with. You're going to have to adapt to people criticizing you, because I think just ensure that you're not really full of yourself. Like, it's okay to be confident in what you're making, but don't go around saying like, dude, check out my awesome YouTube video. It's so good and it's gonna make $1 billion and do 1 million views and shit. Okay, that's annoying. But yeah, for me, I told some of my close friends, and it just ended up that a lot of people in school ended up finding out because YouTube was doing its job, and I didn't like the attention, but it happened and I had to deal with that. And people were really nice. People that never had spoken to me or given a shit about my existence prior to learning about my channel, you know, were speaking to me all of a sudden. So yeah, there's that. Now, collabs. I saw a question about collabs I wanted to get with. That's do that whenever. That's not, I don't think you have to wait like a certain time in order to get that. Just make sure that the person you're working with, and I always suggest team up with someone who has around the same subscribers as you, because that way, I mean, if it's someone you know and like really trust, then by all means go for it. But there's also the opportunity that some people may take advantage of you and be like, oh, you've got more subscribers than me, so I'm gonna use you as a platform to boost my own channel and do absolutely none of the work. And I'm not saying that about any of the channels I've collaborated with. I've had an incredible time with everyone I've worked with. You know, Zach, Jobby, Paperplane, Kuro, all incredible creators. I've had such an amazing time working with them. And for me, it was a really, really big deal because I got really nervous messaging these creators that I really, really liked and looked up to. You know, I didn't want to embarrass myself. And it took me, I mean, if we're talking about Jobby, for example, it took me about 3 years to finally message him, you know? And I don't suggest that. That's just social anxiety. That's not social anxiety. That's not, yeah, anyway. There's a very good question. How much money do you make? Yeah, that's something that fucking everyone is going to ask you. If you start doing well, everyone is only ever going to be concerned about money. When I've told people about my channel, and this is mostly adults by all means, because they refuse to take anything seriously unless it has monetary value. But the first question is always, how much money do you make? It's not how are you enjoying it, or how did you get started, or how do you do it? It's, so how much money are you making, bro? That's all they care about. Yeah. All right. Sorry. So I'll take questions. How do you message or initiate a collab though? Very good question. Okay. Okay. The very first collab that I did properly was with Kuro the artist, and he actually left a comment in one of my in my videos asking. And if you don't know the creator well, don't do that. They're not gonna, people that don't know, like if I don't know someone and they message me and they're like, oh hey bro, you want to collab? It's like, no. I'm not trying to be rude, but I don't know you. And that, yeah, so people, I don't take it personally if you hit up some random and they're not responding. That's just how it is. I messaged I did that once when I was younger. I messaged a YouTuber that has, I think it was 600k subscribers, and for some reason I was like, yeah, he'll want to respond to me. And I was like, hey man, do you want to work together? And he never responded. And you know what? Good for him. I wouldn't have responded to me either. But yeah, sometimes it's just as simple as getting to know them. Maybe just start leaving comments on their videos and like saying you're doing a really good job, or I want to have a chat with you, or stuff like that. But just be like, respect their boundaries, okay? Not everyone is going to want to speak to you, and that's okay. Okay. How do I know what type of content I want to make? Well, I did answer that, but I understand not everyone has been here for the whole time. That was... it's whatever you're passionate about, man. It's whatever you really think you can, like, keep making videos about for a really long time. This is a good one. How to recover when you're underperforming. Okay. This Saxon guy. How much money do you make off your videos per week? Give me the numbers. What the fuck are you, my grandpa? Jesus Christ. Hey, Dale. Thank you again. Dale, please. You are being overly generous, dude. How do you recover when underperforming? YouTube has, for me, I've always noticed it has worked in ups and downs. Yes, I will get to sponsors. Thank you for bringing that up. YouTube is like this in terms of views. The algorithm is very hard to understand, and I cannot explain it to you without you knowing, having enough experience to kind of understand what the hell I'm talking about. So I won't bring it up. But YouTube goes... You do really well, and then all of a sudden your videos will not do as well, and then all of a sudden they'll start to do well again. And there's really, like, sometimes it's not your fault, sometimes it depends on what you're making. It's really, like, up in the air, and you kind of have to adapt to that, I think. So how do you recover? Well, as I suggested before, I think look at what videos are doing really well and try and replicate that. I'm not saying, like, just chase trends all the time, but if you've noticed that your videos aren't doing as well, maybe save up an idea that you trust that is going to do super well in the future. That's what Ruin Forever used to be for me. It was like a really, people who don't know, and God, I wish no one knew about it. So much. That was a series where I would talk about like popular topics and talk about weigh up whether or not it was like, how the impact it's had and why people hate it so much. And because it was such a popular topic, I knew for a fact that it was going to, at least stir up some people. So stir up implies to anger them, and that's not what I meant. You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's more or less like see what's been doing well and try and replicate it, and you'll recover from that. Hey, Zach, do you plan on making YouTube a full-time job? I already have. Sorry, that came out really narcissistic. You know what I mean? Yes, YouTube is my full-time job at the moment. I have not worked out what I'm doing in the near future, but I would classify it as a job considering I do it every single day and I do get paid for it, and it's probably what I am, the only value I have on this planet. All right, more questions. Give me, okay, I'll get to sponsors afterwards. I'm not dabbing, I already did that last time. Okay, how do you come up with video ideas? Because no one wakes up and says, I'm going to make a YouTube video on a CGI cat doing dumb stuff. Okay. This is very dependent on how confident you are in your own, like, structure, I guess. For me, it's when I watch, I look at a movie and I'm like, can I make this into something interesting? Will people want to watch this? And I write them down and I think about it for a very, very long time. So I usually don't get to video ideas for like 3-4 months. It takes a very, like, that's not for everyone. Some people are more spontaneous, and I've been spontaneous in the past. But for me, that's always been a bit too stressful. Like, doing videos on current trends is a lot more stressful because you have to get it. It's a competition in a sense to get it out before anyone else does. And I've always hated doing that. Like, the Sonic movie videos and whatnot. And also, they don't age very well. Like, they'll be popular for the time, but who's going to care about it once the movie comes out, So try and make videos that are going to have longevity and people will want to watch, for a while, not just stuff that's, do whatever you want. I'm not telling you, that's just my logic. Anyway. Oh, this is a good one. How do you know how long a video should be to captivate audiences? How long do you think is too long for a video? Okay, that is a very interesting question because I think it very much dependent on the kind of audience you have. I'm gonna take these off and my eyes are getting sore. I always aim for, obviously you have to aim for at least 10 minutes. And that's not just because you're allowed to put mid-roll ads in, but it's also because those videos that aren't 10 minutes long are going to underperform. That's just how the YouTube algorithm works. And usually 10 minutes is a pretty good bet for like having a full fleshed out video in terms of intro, the meat of it, and conclusion, and a bunch of jokes sprinkled in there. Now, there's nothing stopping you from making a 50-minute video, but by all means, people have the attention span of like, a goldfish, I guess, nowadays. It's why TikTok's so popular. They want to watch a 6-second video. That was a voice break. 6-second video, and they're like, yep, okay, I'm done.
That's not everyone. That's not, by all means, not everyone. I don't usually look at my viewer retention, which is a big part of how mid-roll ads work nowadays in terms of you get paid the more of the video people watch. So my advice for starters would really be, and it's probably easier to edit as well, is just start with something a lot more bearable. So 10 minutes is something to aim for. And if you want to do more than that, then go for it. There's nothing stopping you. But I think 10 minutes is a pretty safe bet. Okay. How do you grow your channel in earlier stages? I know that the simple answer is just post. Were there any other variables when you were in earlier stages? Okay. That's a very good question. I'm sorry it took me so long to get to it. Oh, okay. I'll get to this one as well from Zach. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, I guess it was mostly like looking at what was really... So, if I am to be totally honest, a lot of people will say luck has something to do with it, and I think it does in some regard, but to say that that's the only thing that like is the factor is kind of degrading, I think, to people who put a lot of work in. Obviously, it was the thing you have to look at is what is there a gap in the market, if you want to call it that. Like, what aren't people making that has an audience? And for me, no one was really making Transformers videos when I started. And that's not to say that people aren't now. There are far, far better creators that are doing it now, and thank God for that. I'm very much glad there's people who have, you know, started making stuff to fill that void. But top 10 list was something trendy that people liked, and Transformers was had a dedicated fan base, but not a lot of people were making videos on it. So you smush those two things together, and it seemed to do well gradually over time. It's going to take a very long time to get noticed. And I'm not just saying just post a video and fucking go for it, man. That's, you know, just see what does well and try and replicate that in your own content. I'm sorry, I'm rambling now. Anyway, I'm afraid if I upload a video that I'm going to get a lot of hate. How do I get over that fear? Well, you're also probably going to get a lot of love for it as well. I mean, the only thing you can offer people is your best. And I think for me to be able to start with literal PowerPoint presentations of images and text coming up that was so fast you couldn't even read it, and people would still enjoy that, you know, your expectations for yourself will be the highest, I promise you. You will be your own worst critic in that regard. You are the only one that is going to notice a lot of errors that other people probably won't really care about. The video I uploaded yesterday has an error in it. I bet no one knows what it is, but it bothers me a lot, but no one gives a shit because you didn't edit the video, and it's fine. You know, you're allowed to have those mistakes every now and then. So all I can say, man, is go for it. I mean, you won't know unless you try. And yeah, you come across hate eventually. That's inevitable, but it's how you deal with that. And there's no shame in blocking or reporting comments. That's why it's there, you know? Anyway. Okay. Okay. Any way to contact you should we have further questions outside of social media? Never have and never will have Twitter. Damn it, that's the easiest one. Email or Discord, perhaps. I'd rather not give out my email, even though it's pretty easy to guess. I usually reserve that for emails from sponsors I don't want to answer. And Discord, I guess if you want, you could. I post the link to my server sometimes on Twitter, but I'm not going to post it for a while. If you want, I can do a community post, and if anyone has any further questions for me, I'll try and answer them there if that helps. Sorry, I'm sniffling a bit. It's freezing today. Does country matter with getting views? Okay, that's interesting. Are you talking like, if you're talking like, what country you're from, or is it like, because my videos come out at 5 a.m. my time. I schedule them to come out at that time because I've worked out that over time, that is the peak time for YouTube provides you with what location it's mostly coming from. 99.9% of the time, if you are speaking English, it is going to be America. That's just, you know, how it is. America is a very, very avid on YouTube. I mean, maybe not always. That's just from my experience. But, yeah. So I've worked out 5 a.m. my time is around the afternoon for Americans, and that's like the peak time for them because that's when they'll most likely want to. So yes, a video's like early stages of coming out are its most important. If it doesn't gain a lot of views in like a quick amount of time, it's not going to retain itself in the recommended tab. So you have to work out what time it's going to come out. that's going to rack up the most views. So, for example, not doing what I'm doing now with a live stream at 8 p.m., where it is probably like 5 in the morning for some people. Okay. Do you have to get up early to get videos edited and released? No. Okay, so YouTube allows you to schedule videos in advance, which is very helpful, except when you accidentally upload Blue Clean 4, but that's another story. But no, I don't have to wake up for it. I just, whenever I wake up, I check to see that the videos come out, but yeah. I just started Let's Plays. Are those still popular or no? Okay. I want to be totally honest, and Let's Plays are a very good example. This is not me trying to be demeaning, but please understand that a 40-minute video playing The Legend of Zelda is not going to stand out, because people have done that to absolute death. You can do it if you want. Like, if you find it rewarding just to make it, by all means, then yeah, go for it, dude. But understand that it's not going to stand out as much because people have done that, like, over and over and over again. If you do the same thing that people are already sick of, then... Like, I'm not saying that a Let's Play series isn't, you know, like, you can't do it, but... Yeah, okay. When do you think is the right time to get a full-time editor for your videos? Okay. I guess obviously it has to depend on, like, you know, if you're making enough money to sustain paying someone. For me, I never ever want to hire an editor because I'm very picky about my videos and I like them to be done how I want them to be done, which is not to say like, oh, no one else can do it better, but it's, you know, like only I know what I want it to look like. So as much as I hate editing at times, I do prefer to do it myself, but some people get sick of it and I understand that completely. You know, some people just can't manage to only edit forever. So I'd reckon once you're probably like doing well enough to be able to sustain an editor and it's probably like worth hiring someone to do it, then yeah, like maybe a couple years into it. Okay. What is the hardest video you ever made? Those commercial videos are an absolute bitch. They are so hard. I don't have a script to cross off, so there's nothing to go off of because it's obviously ad-lib. There's no like scripts to go off of for those, so there's nothing to cross off. It's just like endless editing, and it takes forever to do the text, so that's always been a pain. Jaden Edwards, did somebody ring the Dinkster? You made me subscribe to Dinkster Daily and watch his content. Is streaming worth it or no? I wouldn't know. I'm very bad at streaming, so I mean, if you find it rewarding, then yeah, go for it, man. Are there any videos you regret making? Everything pre-2018. Okay, yes, yeah, okay, editing. Sponsors, sorry. Okay, this will be one of the last things I cover. Alright. Oh, sorry, about the whole hate comments thing. Would it be bad if I, YouTuber with a good amount of views, would be replying to a bad option and just leave it like everyone else says? Just fucking, like, you can shadow ban them. Just hide them from your channel. You gain nothing from having them there. I know some people might argue it's like censorship and whatnot, but if it's draining your mental health, then yeah, by all means, dude. Thank you, MJSPUD97. Love from Australia. Now, sponsors are so difficult if you don't know what you're doing. And I am probably not the best person to ask because I've only done about 3 sponsorships, I think, in my entire career, if you want to call it a career. Thanks, Mum. But some of them, you need to do your research beforehand. You need to make sure that the company that is messaging you is legitimate. And understand that when you're starting out, there will be ones you probably haven't heard of. You're not going to get Audible or Squarespace or fucking Raid Shadow Legends, which, believe me, you don't want Raid Shadow Legends. I'll say that much. Yeah, a lot of them will try and scam you. I have so many robot emails that I get. Hi, insert channel name here. We love your channel. Here is a bunch of information. We want to buy 7 minutes of your video with some shitty mobile app that no one gives a fuck about. And we're going to pay you this much money for it. I turned down a $5,000 sponsorship because it was a game that, like, I didn't know how to work it into a video. Like, I wasn't confident enough. Nothing against the company by any means. I appreciate them reaching out to me. But I just wasn't confident in being able to turn that into something interesting for people. And for me, it's a big deal of, like, I really want to believe in the product I'm advertising. Raid Shadow Legends has emailed me 6 times. They will never quit. I promise you. I am never going to accept it. But yeah, you know, I personally really believe in really believing in what sort of product you're advertising, because I care about my audience enough to not want to just take the money and just advertise them something shit. And I don't like Raid. I don't like, you know, fucking, you know what I mean. So all of the sponsorships I've done before for Amino and Surfshark, those are things that I liked at the time, at least. And I was like, hey, I think this is pretty cool. And I think I can work this into the video. But it's also, I find it kind of restricting, because I don't like the idea of like, this has to be done the way this person wants me to do it, you know? So I would suggest, you know, don't take sponsorships initially. I think wait a bit of time. I know money is enticing, but it's also kind of dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So I suggest just really be careful with that and give it some time. Okay, I'm going to take about 3 more questions and then I'm going to go to sleep. How do I make myself not shy with my voice? Okay, as I said before, you are your own biggest critic. I guarantee you there are channels with... There's this channel called Run for the Cube that has this demon voice. And it pulls in a lot of views and people still watch his videos. So clearly, you know, I understand being shy. I was really shy. It took me a very long time to show my face. It's going to happen. It's totally cool to be like, there's no shame in being nervous by any means, but the best thing you can do is just go for it. I guarantee you will be more critical of it than anyone else will be. And that's not to say that no one's going to like hurl insults your way from occasion, but that doesn't make it true, you know? Okay. Okay. How do you tell if the sponsor emails are robots or not? I won't count this, but it's pretty easy, because it is when they are copy and pasted and say absolutely nothing about your channel. They're just a copy paste. Hello, Diamondbolt. We are a big fan of your channel. We would like to tell you about mobile app. And it's just like this copy pasted information. I never respond to those ones. Okay. You indicated that TikTok is horrible in your last video. Why? Because it is. What do you have to say for people such as myself who are in the midst of being unsure how to motivate themselves to slave through making videos? I'd love to get into it again, but I find it hard now. Now that we're all trapped inside, I could not recommend enough a better time for you to sit down and start planning how you, if you want to make videos. And please understand, as I said before, what you're going to start out with is not going to be amazing. That's just how it happens. If it was, something would be very wrong. You know, no one's going to be a freaking PewDiePie overnight. That doesn't happen. And you wouldn't want it to happen, because it would be very scary. I wouldn't want that to happen, you know? It's a lot of pressure all at once, and you wouldn't want that to happen. So that I just, you know, how unsure to motivate yourself. I think in terms of, I guess this works with all work, not just YouTube videos, but break it up into smaller tasks. Like set yourself the goal of, today I'm going to brainstorm video ideas. Tomorrow I'm going to start narrowing them down, you know, like seeing what ones are going to work. The next day I'm going to watch some more YouTube videos. Just like give yourself like smaller tasks to work toward, and that way it's a lot more helpful in getting things done, I find. Anyway. Okay, last question. Who's it going to be? Who's the lucky one? Come on. Give me okay, well, I'll... Oh, copyright. How did I know? Okay, I've got 3 questions I want to answer now. All right. Can amateur stop motion videos do any good in terms of views? Yeah, absolutely, dude. And that's one thing you only improve on. I think animation is really rough on YouTube because you're actually putting like a fuck ton of effort into it. And it's like, you're not making it to reach 10 minutes. You're like trying to make a form of art, if that makes sense. So it's going to be rough, but if you're passionate about it, then yeah, do it, man. And it's possible. How is your channel holding up since your change in direction? Yeah, no, stellar. I think it's, I mean, I would say, I don't know if you guys would agree, but I think it's doing better than ever, and I'm really happy and confident with what I make now. And that's more than I could ever ask for. That was the problem when I was making stuff back in 2017. I wasn't happy with it. Yeah, so you have to be happy with what you're making. Even if it's doing well, you know, you have to be enjoying it. And I think it's going really well at the moment. Any suggestion how to avoid getting copyright screwed if you want to use like a tiny bit of music from something? Okay. footage is a lot easier to deal with than music. Music companies are fucking dickheads who will literally... I was claimed, with my Sonic review, was claimed for using literally 0.5 seconds of Gangsta's Paradise. I fucking timed it. And these assholes came in and they're like, we need this 17-year-old boy's $20 for our multi-million-dollar company. But, to their defense, it is their property, and I used it without permission. That is how copyright works. Footage is a lot easier to get away with because, well, not get away with, it's law. Fair use law is a thing. And some companies will still try and strike you down for using, you know, a lot of companies prey on smaller channels because they're trying to scare you off. And please do some reading into, I'll talk about this another time, I think, because I don't want to go on for too long about copyright. It's a whole other thing. But YouTube does have pretty nice guidelines for like what you can and can't use. And sometimes you can just like refute a claim and they'll back off. I've had so many videos where people, like companies have like, they've like sent me a copyright thing over footage I've used when it was fair use. Like I was within my right to use that. And if you refute the claim, then they'll back off eventually because they're not going to take you to court when they're the ones in the wrong. So they will try and bully you. That is a thing that happens, unfortunately. It's something you'll get. You work out how to use it. But that's what's good about starting out. You're not making money initially, so copyright doesn't matter. Okay, 2 more because I cannot stop taking my own advice. Where did it go? I'm trying to find it. I saw a really good question. I want to talk about it. Okay, I can't find it, so I'll just go for this other one. Yeah, Sony is a piece of shit. How many videos do you think you should upload on a weekly basis? That's up to you, man. I aim for 1 a week, but that's dependent on your output. There's no rush. Oh, someone asked about, okay, how difficult is it to do school and YouTube at the same time? Okay. Well, all right. I am a very bad role model in this regard, and a lot of people will get mad at me for saying that I considered YouTube to be significantly more important than school at times, because it was. Because I saw a future with YouTube. I was like, I want to keep doing this, and I trust myself enough that I can do this. But that was after years of doing it. I didn't start out and was like, fuck school, I'm just going to make... You know, it's difficult to manage your mental health in terms of how fucking god-awful school is and also making YouTube videos. And I think this year, in spite of everything that, you know, the obvious, I think this is probably the best year for me because I'm finally able to just do YouTube as I've always wanted to. And that's why I'm really having a good time. How many hours do you dedicate to a normal video? Okay, I reckon, I've never timed it, but I think it takes about 60 hours per video. Probably more than that. No, I'm not still in school. I am graduated. Okay. Well, sorry, otherwise I will make a community post, and if anyone has any further questions, I'll do my best to answer them. But thank you so much for putting up with my rambling for an hour and a half. I'm very sorry that I'm this boring. This is why I have to script my videos, because I just ramble for fucking ever, and it's boring. But I wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. I hope some of the advice was useful. If not, I apologize. I hope that I wanted to say a massive thank you for 300,000. That is way too many. I do not know what to do with my life with that many. And yeah, if you guys want, I can do another class live stream eventually where I can talk about some more like advanced stuff. But I just wanted to give people a hand because there's so many people out there that I know can be amazing at this. If I can do it, anyone can. And that's a promise, okay? Because I've made a lot of mistakes. So you guys are all incredible. Thank you so much. I love you guys. And yeah, have a good rest of the day or night or afternoon. And I am going to start working on whatever video is next. I don't know what it is yet, but it will be a movie video. Yeah, so bye-bye, guys. And now I'm going to awkwardly find the stop streaming button while you watch me. See you guys.